The problems of figure collecting. Hello everyone and welcome. I'm Polen, and in this video I'll be talking about more problems that every anime figure collector has to face. If you haven't seen part 1 or 2, you can watch them now or after this video. I'm going to leave links to them in the description below. So, let's now start with number 1, delays. If you're new to figure collecting, you might not know it, but scale figures get delayed as often as AAA games. Now, it's important to note that I said scale figures because this problem mostly affects scale figures. Other figures also do sometimes get delayed, but rarely. Or at least you don't hear about it as often. Now, this isn't some big issue that collectors have to think about. Delays are more of an inconvenience, annoyance. It's just something slightly irritating. Let's take as an example this RAM Halloween version figure by Fat Company. It was supposed to be released around Halloween in October 2020, but got delayed to April 2021. So now a Halloween figure will be released in spring. I guess it's acceptable if a figure gets delayed once, but it becomes more irritating when a figure gets delayed multiple times. The only upside to figure delays is that if you're short on money, having a figure delayed will give you some extra time to save money for the figure that you want to get. Number 2. Bootleg figures. Unfortunately, bootleg figures are a thing. They are much cheaper than authentic figures, and the quality of bootlegs is a lot worse, with lots of paint errors, wrong colors, mold lines, pieces not fitting together properly, and lots of other issues. Remember to never buy bootlegs knowingly. It's just a waste of money. The quality of bootleg figures is so bad it would be embarrassing to keep them on a shelf. Most, if not all, figures on Amazon, eBay, AliExpress, and Wish are bootlegs, so you should avoid these websites. There are of course a lot of other websites selling bootlegs, so be careful and buy only from shops that you know sell authentic figures, like for example AmiAmi, HobbyLink Japan, Good Smile Online Shop, or Solaris Japan. If you don't know if a website sells authentic figures or bootlegs, you can always ask on forums on My Figure Collection or Reddit r/anime figures. Just remember, if the price seems too good to be true, it's probably a bootleg. Number 3. Paint and other figure errors. Most figures are perfect, but unfortunately not all, and it does happen from time to time that figures have some paint errors or other issues. The other issues can be, for example, pieces not fitting correctly or light scratches. Usually these issues are small and not very noticeable, but they are still there, and it's always sad to spend money on an authentic figure and find out that it has some issue. The quality of figures depends of course on their price and the manufacturer. For example, figures made by Alter are usually on the more expensive side, but are also always perfect. Or at least I have never heard anyone complaining about the quality of figures made by Alter. And on the other side, figures made by, for example, Kotobukiya are cheaper, but also their quality isn't always as good, and they can sometimes have some small issue. Now, I don't want you to think that everything except expensive scale figures is bad, because cheaper figures, like for example price figures, are cheaper mostly because they are smaller, simpler, and don't have as much detail as scale figures. Yes, price figures also do sometimes have small issues, but you shouldn't expect them to have bad quality just because they are cheaper. Anyway, figure quality is something that we don't have control over, and we just have to accept that not always every figure is going to be perfect. If you get several figures from one manufacturer and if those figures have issues, the only thing you can do is to just not buy more figures from that manufacturer. Now let's move on to the next problem with figure collecting. Number 4. Canceling pre-orders. This is something that not many collectors think about, but canceling a pre-order is often a problem for collectors. You see, if you want to cancel one pre-order of one figure, it's always going to be fine, especially if you haven't paid for the figure yet and there is still time before the figure gets released. Even shops like, for example, Good Smile online shop that say in their user guide that they don't accept order cancellations will still accept a cancellation if you contact them and explain why you want to cancel your order. But if you cancel too many orders, you risk of getting account restrictions or getting banned with permanent account closure. If you're wondering how many orders you can cancel, well, I don't know. It all depends on the shop, your account status, how many orders did you have and have paid for, how old is your account, and if you had good reasons to cancel your orders or not. I mostly use AmiAmi, and last year I have cancelled 2 figures in 2 different orders, so I guess that AmiAmi accepts at least 2 cancellations in a year, if you of course buy some other figures in between the cancellations. Anyway, it is this risk of getting banned from a shop that keeps collectors afraid of cancelling their orders. But as long as you order only the figures that you are sure you want to get, this problem won't affect you. Number 5. Assembly and accessories. This problem concerns mostly Nendroids and Figmas, but also some scale figures. You see, sometimes figures can be annoying or frustrating to put together. Even though figures are very expensive, accessories, alternative body parts, or other pieces that can be swapped, sadly very often don't fit together as nicely as something like Lego bricks. So putting together a figure can often take much more time than it should. Sometimes the connection might be too stiff, making 2 pieces very hard to connect. Sometimes it might be too loose, so pieces fall off with the lightest touch. And sometimes a connection of 2 pieces is good, but too weak for the weight of the pieces. Also, with accessories and alternative parts comes an issue with storage. You can keep those extra pieces in their figure boxes or get one separate box for all extra pieces from all figures. How you decide to store all the accessories and alternative parts is up to you. But it all depends on what figures you collect. Like I said, this problem concerns mostly Nendroids and Figmas with big and heavy accessories, and it also concerns some scale figures, but very few. So if you're collecting only scale figures, you probably will never have this problem. If you have watched my other videos about problems with figure collecting, you probably expect the video to end here, but I decided to add as a bonus, number 6, waiting. Figure collecting is a hobby that has a lot of waiting and requires a lot of patience. It all starts when a new figure gets announced. You get excited that your favorite character gets a new figure, and so you wait for the unpainted prototype. A few months later you get first pictures of the unpainted prototype, and after that there's more waiting. Couple months later you get pictures of a painted prototype, and again more waiting. Another few months later you get official promo pictures and pre-orders start. You pre-order that figure and again you have to wait. Half a year later you think the figure is going to be released soon, but no. Instead it gets delayed for another half a year or more. And once the figure finally gets released, you have to wait for it to ship. And after all that, it finally arrives to you. It takes a lot of time for a figure to get made, so you just have to be patient and hope that the figure doesn't get cancelled. And that's everything I wanted to talk about in this video. Thank you very much for watching, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked the video, please give it a like. I am posting a new video every week, so please subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of my anime figure unboxings, reviews and other videos. Also, if you want, you can add me on my figure collection, and if you'd like to see pictures of my figures and Nendroids, you can check my Instagram. Links in the description.